Welcome back to the video series. I'm Josh Denning, the Tropical Entrepreneur. This is video 2, Customer Value Optimization. So I'm going to assume here that you've kind of already thought about what model you want to do, and you've got a good idea which model you're going to go with. And I want to premise this with, whilst I'm going to explain this more or less pretty much around the information marketing model, that this is really what all of the biggest businesses in the world do. This is what McDonald's does. This is what Amazon does. This is what Starbucks do. This is what the great subscription magazines do. Like with, in the 80s, I remember there was an offer where a certain magazine gave you like a hamburger phone for subscribing to their magazine for 12 months. And people actually subscribed to the magazine for 12 months because they wanted the hamburger phone more than they wanted the actual magazine itself. So what customer value optimization deals with is really making sure that you get the most possible paying customers from the actual people that come through your store or come through your website or find out about your offer as possible, and then knowing that once they've actually made a smaller purchase, they're highly likely to continue making purchases. So this I originally learned from it from old school direct response marketers a long time ago. But later in the piece, I actually learned it again, firstly from Mike Filsame and Anik Singhal when they did a product called the Launch Tree. And more recently, it's been really perfected by Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher, and I think with Frank Kern, who I heard demonstrating this at the Marketing Genesis live event that Mike Filsame and Andy Jenkins put on. So enough of me yakking away. Let's get into it so you can grab the value out of what customer value optimization is. So I'll deliver this over around the information marketing model, but at each point trying to explain how it would apply to e-commerce or even other kinds of physical coaching businesses. Let's get into it. So the first thing is you've chosen your market, you've got a website up, you've got a good idea around your customers, who they are, what they want, what their needs are, what kind of problems they're experiencing. So the first thing you really need to do is dig deep and try and find out what your customers, what your market's biggest problem is. What's some piece of information that they're really going to want that's going to deliver a huge amount of value to them. And you're going to write a very short report or do like what I've done and create a resources guide or some kind of tips guide or something like that. We're going to label this position 1, and it's called a lead magnet. So the first thing you want to have on your site is a lead magnet. Now, with information marketing, this is just going to be on an opt-in or a squeeze page. Where you're going to offer, the guide or the video series or whatever it is in exchange for the email. If it was on e-commerce or on, say if it was on e-commerce or software as a service, this could be in the form of a free account, and in exchange for the free account, they might get, a certain period of use for free or something like that. So the lead magnet, let's just say, for example, in this case, is a report. And, it's like 12 pages long. Don't make it too long. Don't make this your life work. It's just something small that covers one big idea and is very, very valuable to the market. Once they've opted in for the free report, this is where the customer, it really does start here, but the actual generation or the creation of the customer value optimization sequence really starts here. You're going to deliver something called a tripwire. And thank you for leading us down, originally Frank Kern for leading us down this path, and Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher. It's extremely valuable. So guys, you might want to go and check this out over at Digital Marketer as well after I've been through it to get more value on it. In fact, I'll put a link around this video somewhere where you can see their great infographic they've done on it. So the tripwire is a very low priced offer for, say, $7 to $17, for example. It's got to be low priced. It's got to be really easy for the customer to say yes to it. So think of the hamburger phone with the 12-month subscription to a magazine. Think about, a single CD that you're going to send someone out, a single DVD that you're going to send someone out, an actual physical book that you're going to send someone out, whereby the $17 covers the printing or the self-publishing of the book, covers the creation of the DVD, covers the creation of the CD, and you can even do free shipping at that price, or you can charge, say, $7 and charge shipping on top. The reason this is so good, and they've already taken a small action here when they've opted in. When they see this offer presented on the thank you page after they've opted in, they're already in action mode because they've opted in, and the price is so low. And if you do it right, the value seems so good, so relevant to this lead magnet as well, that it's almost irresistible to take it up. So once they take that up, and what this does is it starts to sort your list. It sorts out who are the freebie seekers and who are the people that are serious about their future, serious about their hobby, serious about getting fit, serious about making money, serious about their business, and they're willing to pay to solve their problems. And that's really important because these people are the most valuable to you. You want to take good care of them, and then you want to split them off onto a different list and start to provide them with lots more value and great stuff and keep building your goodwill with them. So the people that do take the tripwire, you then send them to another thank you page where you offer your core offer. So this also requires, of course, that you've done, quite a bit of work and, you've actually created a core product. And your core product should be anywhere from $97 if you want to just get something going quickly, right up to, $497. And you want to give them the core offer at a good discount. Discount the product so that it's cheaper than normal. And you've got to make sure that it really is cheaper than normal. They can't get this discount just anywhere. They can only get it in this sequence. Now, because someone's already bought here, if you understand psychology of buying, when people start buying, especially when it's around something they're very passionate about or they really like, they go into a certain frame of mind where they've already got their credit card out, and it's much easier for them to keep buying than it is when they just come into your website because they're in a buying state of mind, which is really important. So the likelihood of them actually taking this offer goes up substantially. It's like very, very substantially. You then from there, so if they don't take the offer and they say no thanks, you then want to offer a downgraded version of the product for less money. So this is your downsell. And it's got to be a downgraded version. It can't just be the same product for less money because that looks like you just, at this price, it was just a scam or a rip-off. It's got to literally be, you got to take some stuff out of the product. And really it should be that it's this valuable and that when you take the certain things out, that's the real value of it. But it's easier for certain people to take up. If they don't take that up, then they still go onto your paid list because they took, they did the tripwire. But they don't end up back here on the freebie list. They actually end up on your paid list. If they do take it from either side, then we're going to deliver something called a profit maximizer. And this should add value to the core offer and the tripwire, keeping in mind that each thing along the way needs to add value. They shouldn't be disconjointed. They should be very similar to the previous offer. For example, think about when you go to buy a suit. From the suit, you get then offered the shirts and the ties, and then the profit maximizer might be the cufflinks, something like that. So if you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of products, it might not be a bad idea to offer mentoring or coaching. If you're in the fitness market, that could be over the phone where, you help them do diet plans. You help them, talk to them about sticking with it. Just be an accountability partner. If it's in, online marketing, you might be helping them get traffic or just helping them critique their website, get their website live, or just really with whatever their issues and problems are, make yourself available to them via email and say for, 30 minutes each week to answer their questions and to really keep them guided on track. And, this can be priced really at whatever you want. You can go down the line of doing it a cheap profit maximizer of, say, $97 again. But if it's coaching, you really should probably sell it for, at least probably $200 for each 30-minute session. You want to make sure you remain premium unless you're just getting started, and if you've got a lot of value and a lot to offer people, charge for it. If you think that you're really still learning and you've got stuff to offer to some people, but others you're really still learning, then charge less for it. Just always try to make sure that you're charging what you're worth. Don't try to charge more, but definitely don't charge less than what you're actually worth. So from the profit maximizer, this is usually the last step in the sequence. You might downsell there again as well and offer the profit maximizer a little bit less, but you don't really have to. If you go too far, it can probably get annoying unless it's really, really tailored and worthwhile and valuable. But if you don't go far enough, then you've just left money on the table and you're doing them a disservice and you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not giving them a chance to get the best value for them through utilizing the services and products that you have available. So what have we done here? We've turned someone that was just potentially just a subscriber or a freebie seeker on our list. We've figured out who of those people are actually willing to spend money on themselves to improve their lives, improve their business, whatever it may be. We've then also determined who's actually prepared to spend more money on their lives and develop themselves and develop their business, but also got a chance to present people that are in a buying frame of mind with our core offer, or our offer that's actually delivers the most value that we've created. And then we've also had a chance to maybe get people into our coaching or our mentoring program. So we've turned a potential $7 sale into, $514, potentially say $500 straight up, and then up to, possibly even, $997 a month, for example, on our coaching, out of not really thin air, but it's much, much better, of course, than just getting someone on your list. And what this also does is it allows you to pay a lot more for your traffic, where your competitors are just doing this and maybe offering this later to their list down the track. You have known your traffic is always coming in at a profit. You know that you're paying, for example, let's say $2 for each visitor, and you've done your math, and you know that each visitor, when you run them through this whole sequence, ends up worth $5 to you, each visitor that comes to the website. So every single visitor that comes to your site has a profit of $3 in it already. So all you need to do now is just keep finding more and more visitors. And this doesn't even include your back end, where you get your subscriber value mathematics done as well. So that's, I hope that made sense. My great little diagram here. It's looking lovely and like an artist. As you can see, I'm a great drawer. But I hope you got a lot of value out of that, and I really would like you to start thinking about this, because this is the way great marketers think. This is how marketers make sure that their businesses become profitable, and this is why some businesses fail and aren't making enough money to survive, and other businesses thrive. This is the way that your business can thrive. My name's Josh Denning. I'm the Tropical Entrepreneur, and I look forward to talking to you soon.